Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back, I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2024, the album, Dad, Shimmy Shimmy AF. We're on Easy Street, and it feels so sweet. And the world is but a treat when we're on Easy Street. Boost! How are you guys doing today? So, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want. I'll tell you what I want for James Charles to shut the fuck up. I'll tell you what I want. No, like, that's truly just like, that's where I'm at today. That's where I'm at. And I'll tell you that's where I'm at because, well, I watched like 8 straight hours of The Walking Dead last night. I did. I'm very tired today. And so I need for James Charles to shut the fuck up. Okay, so I watched like 8 straight hours of The Walking Dead. For those of you who don't know, if you don't know the song reference, okay, we're on Easy Street. That's from The Walking Dead. So I watched like 8 straight hours of The Walking Dead last night. I'm currently, I finished season 7. I'm now on halfway through season 8. I think I'm on like episode 10. Maybe I watched like 9 or 10 episodes last night. Anyway, I just want to tell you, okay? So I've learned a couple things, right? From now on, we're not calling this a fan, okay? You're going to refer to her as Lucille, like Negan's bat, okay? This is Lucille. You don't touch her! And let me just tell you, okay? First of all, I had to deal last night. For those of you that have never watched The Walking Dead, none of this means anything to you, but for the rest of you out there, I love you so much, okay? But I had to watch Carl die last night. Well, he died, kind of, and then they gave him like a whole episode of dying after that because he was such a main character that they had to give him like a whole episode. Like, they had to make us real sad, you know? So they gave us a whole episode where he was like writing everybody goodbye notes and everything like that, right? Because then in a zombie apocalypse, you're going to take the time to write goodbye notes to everybody that you love. No, I did think that was very, very sweet. But I was devastated. I knew Carl didn't make it till the very end. I knew that because, like, I Google so much stuff while I'm watching the show, like, what's the worst season, and it's always the season that I'm on, and, like, things that happen. And so I see stuff that happens, and so I knew that Carl died. I just didn't know how he died. And I actually kind of think it's sweet, kind of like, well, I mean, it's not really sweet to get bit by, I almost said a vampire, to get bit by a zombie and go out. But, you know, if I ruined it for you, the show's been out for 15 years. I don't know what to tell you. People ruined it for me, too. So, anyway, but that was not the worst. Before it got to Carl's death, Shiva the tiger was killed. Oh my God, I was so devastated. No, truly, I was like crying watching The Walking Dead. So if y'all don't know it, I know this is going to sound so weird in a zombie apocalypse, okay, but there's this community, and it's called The Kingdom, and it's run by this guy, and he used to work for a zoo, and his name is Ezekiel, and he has this tiger, right? Now everybody calls him King Ezekiel, okay? And so King Ezekiel has this tiger, and her name is Shiva, and like in the previous season, she like saves the day, okay? She comes out of like nowhere and kills somebody, and she like saves the day, and everybody loves Shiva, okay? And in this season, season 8, oh my God, she got eaten alive by the zombies. I was so devastated. I was so devastated. And I'm like sitting here and I'm watching this show, you know, because I ask myself these weird questions while I'm watching The Walking Dead. Like I mentioned this the other day in my video. I think to myself things like, I wonder if any of them have those, because you know, like I'm willing to count my steps now because I like walk. I'm like a walker now and stuff like that. Not a walker, like that's what they call them in the dead, but like I walk, you know, so I'm like looking at my steps and I know how many steps in a day is a lot. And I'm like, they walk everywhere. I mean, these people walk everywhere, you know? And so I'm like, they're always just like, if they're like, they get into an argument or something, they'll be like, I'll walk home. And walking home is like 20 miles. I'm like, what? Walk home? No, ma'am, you're giving me a ride, okay? So anyway, but they're always just like, I'm going to walk home. They always just say that, right? And they act like it's just like up the street, but you know it's like 20 miles. But anyway, so I always kind of wonder like, how many steps in a day they take and things like that. And then the other day, I said this on video and people didn't like it. But they're like rolling around in blood and guts and they're always like shooting people and they got, you know, zombie blood and guts all over them. They don't shower for like months on end. I don't think some of them ever taken a shower on the show, to be honest with you. And so, but they always are doing it too. They always are. They're always like, you know, laying in sin and things like that. And so y'all like that laying in sin. But anyway, but they're always laying in sin and things like that, you know. And so I'm like, are they doing it so gross and then they don't take no shower afterwards or anything with their blood in their guts? It's so gross. Anyway, but my mind goes to some kind of weird places. And I do know about all the spinoffs, right? I do know that all these spinoff shows, people like want to tell me all the time, they're like, oh, Peter, it doesn't end. There's like spinoff shows. Like, I don't know that. Like, I haven't read every article about The Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead, and all the spinoff shows, right? Okay, well, there's a spinoff show with Maggie and Negan. Well, where I'm at in it, I still got 3 seasons and they hate each other. So I'm like, how do they come together and become this couple? I know some of you out there that watch the whole thing, y'all are laughing and things like that. Listen, I know you want me to get right to the drama. I know you want me to get right to the drama of James Charles playing the victim. Oh, James Charles. James Charles, we should feel so bad for you that you made so much money on a fraud. Okay, first of all, let's clarify that. Long before that he was a predator, well, I don't know, maybe he was at that time too, but long before he was a predator, long before he cheated his way to the top in a weighted class, long before all that, don't forget the ring light incident. Okay, you know, we should have known way back then with the ring light incident, how he tricked his way onto the Ellen show. We should have known way back then that that James Charles, you know, couldn't be trusted. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the victimization of James Charles. It was funny because I was like, I put up this Instagram post. It's probably still up there when you're watching this video, if you're watching this video on Monday. But I put this Instagram post up there like, what drama videos do you guys want me, or what do you want me to cover this week on my drama channel or something like that? And somebody asked the question and they said, what will Manny, or what will James, see, I just gave away the butt of the joke. That's not even what you call it. You don't even call it the punchline. You call it the punchline. But somebody said, what will James Charles be in 10 years? And I thought Manny MUA is what I thought. But, you know, it's interesting because Manny MUA wants to be James Charles so bad, which is so funny because I can remember back in the day when James Charles first came out. And do you remember Manny MUA? Like, he was so pissed at James Charles, like, that he was getting all this attention because Manny was like, I was actually the first beauty boy. Okay, well, you were like, not a boy. You were a man at the time, okay, first of all. So you were the first beauty man, all right? And he was always like, I was like the first beauty man and things like that. That's what got him all those shows, being the first beauty man. Because that's, I guess, you get a trophy with that and maybe like a sash or something, if you're first beauty boy or whatever. But anyway, he was real upset about that. Now he's real good Judy's with him because if you can't beat him, join him, right? Manny just came out recently. And he was talking about, he did this whole TikTok thing about how people are like, like 5 things that pisses him off as like a business owner. And he said like people asking to like get paid for doing PR or whatever. And then the other thing he said is that like when he takes people off his PR list all the time because like if you don't show it in your videos and you don't show it like on your Instagram and things like that. You know what's interesting to me about that is that like what that says is that he believes in relationships that help each other out business-wise, right? Manny MUA is somebody that has always pushed James Charles products, and so have all of James' friends. But you know what's interesting is James Charles never pushes any of their products. You think they're sending? You think Manny MUA sends James Charles Lunar Beauty? Like, he's ever going to get in that and use that palette if he, like, with all his own stuff that he's got out there, James Charles. So, what do I think that James Charles will be in 10 years? Manny MUA, crying a river that he can't find a man and things like that, you know? But anyway, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about Manny MUA. Let Manny MUA be Manny MUA today and those bad wigs that he said he ordered them. It was interesting to me. So, he did this video, and as if those wigs that James Charles wore to Coachella, those Party City wigs, that somebody messaged me. I said, can I use this? And they said, it looks like they got it in one of those parking lot wig markets that they throw up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was like, oh my God, can I use that for a video? But those wigs were so bad that James Charles, that wig he wore, you know, that one that looked like that, you know. Anyway, it's like, it reminds you like of a clown, something like that. Not like a clown like we make fun of it, but like, no, literally it reminded you like a clown, like you went to the circus, like when you were 5 years old. It was real scary. James Charles kind of scares me a little bit sometimes with some of his looks. No, true story does. Like, I mean, if I was like dead asleep and it was like late at night and it was dark, like, and I looked up, I would not want to see James Charles standing there. I mean, for multiples of reasons, but I mean, one of them would be that he kind of does kind of like resemble a clown sometimes, and it kind of scares me because I'm not really that afraid of clowns, but I wouldn't want one standing over me while I'm sleeping, and I'm sure a lot of other people wouldn't either. But that's going to be talked about when we talk about this music video today. So Manny did this video, and in the video he was like, oh, I ordered these wigs that James Charles ordered from ... It felt very much to me either like a favor or a non-disclosed sponsorship, okay? He said in there he ordered these, but they could have contacted him and said, we'll pay for them, you order the wigs, and so the wording is all weird. But it was weird to me, you know? It's like, it kind of reminded me of, like, do you remember back in the day when Lori, I'm going to call Laura Lee, I'm just going to call her Lori from now on. Hey, Lori, how you doing, girl? So, do you remember when Manny and Lori went to the Morphe store and they acted like they were buying all that stuff, and then they rang up the receipt, and then it's like they didn't pay for it at all, they just got it all free at the Morphe store? Do you remember that back in the day? That was such a scandal back in the day. So, would it surprise me that Manny MUA does a non-disclosed sponsorship? Are you fucking kidding me? He does it all the time. Manny MUA is one of the top leaders of non-disclosing affiliate ads and sponsorships constantly. So, it was interesting to me that James Charles wore this ugly-ass wig, okay, which they show the guy that, like, owns the company or the model, the wig or whatever. It looks natural on him. What it says is that James Charles and Manny MUA don't know how to do wigs. And whoever their hairstylists are, if somebody put that on James Charles, I don't know, is that hair by Jay? Because he don't know how to do hair either. Whoever put that wig on James Charles at Coachella, they don't know how they don't know how to do hair, okay? Not to mention that after he took the wig off, not good sponsorship. He's talking about how it was like cutting into his skin and things like that. A wig shouldn't do that to you, girl, okay? Just so you know. But Manny got these wigs, and he's kind of making fun of him, talking about how he looks silly in these wigs and whatever. But it's still a sponsorship. You're still shouting out these wigs, right? Which is like, okay, so back in the day, beauty boys were like, it was real different and edgy because you guys were the first, because you were boys to men, okay, that were wearing makeup, and that's what made you so edgy and different. And now you're boys to men that are wearing wigs. I mean, girl, people have been wearing wigs for years and years and years, okay? Jeffree Star's been wearing wigs, but this ain't nothing new, girl. I don't know why y'all think you're so new and so original for wearing a wig to Coachella. You think you're the first person? I've been seeing these wig things of men putting wigs on and having them cut in to look like certain styles, and a lot better than those wigs you guys are wearing on TikTok and the Instagram for years. My husband keeps on sending those to me because he loves them so much, okay? So that was, I saw that on there. But then I was like scrolling through the Instagram, right? And I saw that James Charles put up this thing, all right, this post. And it's about his song. Well, first of all, he can't really shut up talking about this song, okay? Every post on Instagram is about his song. Let me tell you how I feel about this, first of all, okay? I feel like it's like, you know, let's just put this in perspective, okay? Since they want to compare themselves and act like they are like real singers and stuff like that, what's interesting to me about this is like one of my biggest pet peeves, okay, is when, okay, I have a booktube channel, y'all know, and I read a lot, right? One of my biggest pet peeves is when a writer, like every post that they write is about them and their book, right? It's like, oh, just me eating Subway with my book. Just me talking on the phone while I'm reading my book. Every picture is them and their book, right? And it's so contrived and it's so calculated and it's all just 100% marketing. It's such a joke. I can't stand it, right? It's like, oh, look, me pooping, reading my book. And it's like, you've been reading your book for 15 weeks now, okay? Either it's the worst book in the entire world and it's taking you that long, or every picture is just contrived, you know? It's like, oh, look, me getting my nails done, getting pedicure, reading my book. I hate that so much, right? I would rather read somebody's book if they just happen to look at all their pictures and they're real interesting people and they happen to put a book out there. Market your book every once in a while, put up a thing and say, oh, I'm so excited that my book came out or whatever, but that kind of bullshit is so boring to me, right? Okay, when you look at people like the Beyoncés, the Taylor Swifts, go look at their Instagrams, okay? Because they want to, James Charles and JoJo Siwa want to be these people so bad, right? Somebody put on James's one post, because every one of his posts is about this song, right? That's what I was going to say. that, you know, they want to be like they want to be like Beyonce and Taylor Swift and Adele and all these people. If you go look at their Instagrams, those people's Instagram accounts are not filled up with, oh my God, my song is released in an hour, and clips of this and clips of that. It's embarrassing, girl, okay? It's embarrassing. What you look like is a social media marketer, not a singer, which is what you are. You're an influencer, okay? So when Manny wants to bitch about people comparing influencer brands, you would never have had, because he does that. Manny complains about the one thing about being an independent owner is that people compare influencer brands, right? Well, first of all, Manny, okay, you would never have owned a makeup company had it not been for being an influencer. So own that shit a little bit, first of all, okay? If it hadn't been for the millions of subscribers that you had and you constantly doing collaborations with Jeffree Star and all these other people and James Charles, this is why it is important, see? This is why when I talk about the predator protectors and the defenders, okay, that they get a lot of clout off of those people's names. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't think James Charles did anything wrong, that still support him. Go look at his views. He gets good views, right? So to be James Charles' friend, to many people out there, is lucrative. And to Manny MUA, it's one of those people. Before James Charles, it was Jeffree Star that was lucrative for him to be friends with, right? So when he talks about that you shouldn't be comparing influencer brands, like don't compare my brand to this brand. Well, girl, you're all influencers, so people are going to do that, okay? Just the same way that people compare Selena, and you have done this, girl, okay? You have done this. Just the same way that people want to compare Selena Gomez to Hailey Bieber's lines and things like that, okay? Celebrity brands, people want to compare those the same way, all right? Y'all wouldn't have gotten your brands if you weren't influencers, so of course people are going to naturally compare influencer brands. What do you want to get compared to, Manny? A Lancome? Are you kidding me? You know, listen, this is Lucille, okay? And if you don't watch The Walking Dead, what you don't know is somebody's got to die. And today, it's going to be James Charles and Manny MUA because I've had it with them too, okay? Because when I read these things and I see Manny liking these posts, I'm just like, Manny, you are a grown man feeding into the sickness of this shit, okay? You are not 22 years old. You are not 15 passing notes in high school, okay? As a beauty boy in one of Patrick Starr's music videos with all you sitting in high school, okay? You are a grown man supporting this bullshit. You are a grown man, okay, in your 30s, putting on wigs that James Charles had at Coachella that you thought was... You are a grown man supporting this shit. I'm done with it. I'm so done with it. Like, I always kind of hold out hope for Manny. I'm always kind of like, maybe Manny will change. And then he does some shit like this where he puts up this wig TikTok. Oh, I saw James order these Coachella wigs, so I wanted to order these Coachella wigs. Oh, well, if James jumps off a bridge, will you too? I mean, it's so gross. It's like, be a free thinker, be your own thinker. You know, this is such proof that Manny did not get where he got on his own, which is why his brand will die alone, okay? This is why you're bitching about brands right now, because your brand is not doing well. You should be glad that somebody is comparing your brand to somebody else's. You should be happy about that, okay? You're taking people off your PR list because you're talking about how much it costs to create PR. It's your brand. Don't send out any PR. See how well your brand does, okay? Anyway, so James Charles, he puts up this post, right? And in this post, let me get to my receipts, Whitney. First of all, oh, well, somebody commented on his thing, and they said on his picture that I'm going to read you in a second, or one of his many pictures they post about his song, and they said, well, it's better than JoJo Siwa, and I thought, oh. Now, I just have to tell you, okay, I just put this TikTok or Instagram reel, I shared it on my Instagram story, okay? And here, I'm going to show it to you real quick. Here it is right here, okay? It's this interview with Dionne Warwick, and I think it's Diane Sawyer, and she's asking Dionne Warwick, she says to her something to the effect of, like, you did the song, that song, We Are the World, you know, that song. But she's like, and you did it with a lot of really popular artists around the world and LaToya Jackson. And Dionne Warwick goes, oh, like, she starts laughing, right? Because Diane Sawyer asks her, she says, you did this song, like, how is the song? You did it with all these really amazing, famous artists and LaToya Jackson. Is it my age? Am I the only one that gets that? I mean, she disses LaToya Jackson so bad. And then Dionne Warwick, she laughs because she's like, oh my God, she totally just dissed LaToya Jackson. I mean, we all know Listen, Rebbie Jackson with Centipede was where it's at. Can you name one LaToya Jackson song where she's not riding around on an elephant? Okay, can you name me one LaToya Jackson song? I can even name you a Rebbie Jackson song, okay? But I cannot name me one LaToya Jackson song for her to be on We Are the World, okay? Just like it is. So anyway, and then why am I seeing all this weird stuff online last night? Somebody posted this thing on, maybe it was on it was a TikTok. I don't go to the TikTok very often, so it must have been on Twitter. I see all this shit on the Twitter, right? Or maybe it was on Instagram or something. And it was Liza Minnelli, I don't know, marrying one of her 10 husbands that she's married. I don't know how many times she's been married. But anyway, and Michael Jackson's like her best man or something like that. And then the pastor says something like, you can kiss the bride. And and somebody said like, the comment is like Michael Jackson's response to the kiss. And so I'm like waiting for it, right? And it's like Liza Minnelli. It's like some shit in history is so weird. Like James Charles is going to go down with this weirdness. Okay, he is. And so they show Liza Minnelli kissing her husband, right? And there's Michael Jackson in the background. And you can literally hear him tee-hee. He's like, tee-hee. I mean, it is so weird. Some of this shit is so weird, y'all, okay? Like, I don't know why. Like, people get so mad at me. They're like, you should respect James Charles. No, ma'am. Respect James Charles. I actually, because I was looking into this whole gage situation that happened a long time ago, I was Google searching that gage situation with James Charles, you know. There are whole articles written on major websites, okay, and major newspapers called all of the people that have come out and alleged that James Charles was a predator. You think Peter Monn is the only people calling out these predator protectors? There's literally whole articles around. I might get 15,000 views on a good day. These magazine articles, you're talking about reputable magazine articles that have been written in the last 4 years, okay? That are talking about this straight man came out. You're not talking about a drama channel, because James Charles wants to say, oh, a drama channel, Deaf Noodles, came out and said all these false allegations. I'm talking about reputable articles. Here I have, well, no, I closed it out. But I have, you can look it up. Put in James Charles allegations and it'll come up. It's got Toddy, it's got Jeffrey on there. It's got like this straight guy that was married and has a wife. And James was like, I think you should be, take my, as a compliment. And he's like, no, I'd rather you compliment my wife and my marriage and my career. I mean, it is so weird when you read this stuff. I mean, verifiable evidence that James Charles has hit on straight men and coerced them to be gay and think they're like bi-curious and things like that, okay? So anyway, but on one of these pictures, somebody posts, you were, it's better than JoJo Siwa, LaToya Jackson. I'm going to start referring to James Charles as LaToya Jackson. But anyway, so, and somebody underneath her said, oh, what a compliment. I was like, exactly. I mean, are y'all going to go on tour together? Are you and JoJo Siwa going to go on the Predator tour together? Can't wait to see that one sell out real quick. Sisters! Like, wait for my meet and greet. You have to show your ID that you're over 21 to come to a James Charles meet and greet. That would ruin you. And hey, how about this? Last night on his Instagram, he's got some child up there saying my favorite. Hugging this child on his Instagram last night. Girl, you do not read the room at all. Okay, seriously? Seriously. But let's put this in perspective for a second, right? James Charles has these allegations, okay? If he were ever to go on tour or do anything with this, I mean, would you have to be over 21 or 18 years old to go to a James Charles meet and greet? He has these allegations out there, right? He said he has to be a doorman in his own social media, which he shouldn't have been in anyway. So I go in here and I see this post. This is what started this whole video that I haven't even gotten to yet, right? Because I'm looking at all of these. Well, you can't see them because, hold on a second. Well, I'll throw them up here somewhere, but all these facial features of James Charles while he's singing this song. James Charles is of the school of thought of, like, musical theater when, like, you're in, like, choir, you know, in high school, and, like, you think that, all those painful expressions mean that you're a good singer. Let me reference Dionne Warwick again, okay? When you see me walking down the street, and I pass you by, walk on by, LaToya Jackson. Listen, you do not have to be doing all those faces, okay, James Charles? Those faces are weirdly. You don't have to be doing all of them to prove that you're a good singer, okay? And to be real honest with you, nothing could really prove that you're a good singer, okay? It was so embarrassing. When I was going in here, all these people were like, oh my God, I love this song so much. And I would, like, go and hit their, like, Instagram thing, and I would, like, go to it, and they were, like, literally, like, junior high. I mean, every single one of James Charles fans. So when people want to say that James Charles fans fans are not young. That is bullshit. Go read the comments and you go fact check it the way that I did, okay? Just so you can be clear on that. So, I go in here and I see this post that he posts, okay? And so the post is, I mean, he has so many posts about this song. But the post is him and he's sitting like in a field and it's his song playing in the background, okay? And then he has this thing on here written up. I'll put it up here somewhere. And it says, it's his song playing in the background, Can We Just Be Friends? I've read the lyrics in a previous video. And he says, this song is for everyone that's only experienced love when they were being kept a secret. Okay, now, I want to reference back to this in just a second, since it's 2024, okay? It's not 1987. It's not the middle of the AIDS crisis. It's not 1975. It's not 1965, okay? And this is not the movie Making Love with Kate Jackson from Charlie's Angels, okay? It's 2024, all right? We are way past gay liberation at this point and people having to be people with secrets, okay? This song is for everyone that's only experienced love when they were being kept a secret. For everyone that's ever felt like an experiment, okay? We're going to get back to these words in just a second. For everyone whose dates only happen after midnight, basically implying you're a booty call, okay? For everyone that's woken up the next morning to a block, okay, on social media. So here we are at 25, and James Charles is still ate up, okay, with being blocked on social media. All right. A friend zone at best, or a threat at worst, okay? I wrote, Can we just be friends after years of pain and trauma? Finally realizing that I, in these little asterisks, was the one allowing myself to be the secret over and over and over again. Okay, because you're desperate, right? You said that before, that you were desperate, so you would allow that. We all deserve someone that will love us publicly, proudly, loudly, and unconditionally. I hope you love this song as much as I do. Okay. You know, here's where I'm at with it, all right? First of all, I don't believe that James Charles has been dating anybody, okay? I don't. James Charles, I don't believe has ever dated anybody privately, period, okay? This is the same tactic that Jeffree Star uses, okay? Jeffree Star constantly says, I got NBA players hit me up in my DMs, and I've got, you know, rappers and singer-songwriters, and I've got NFL players, and then later we find out it's not true, it's for a podcast that he's going on, and he's fed this whole thing out there, right? And then he feeds something else out, and we realize that the whole thing is fake, just to gain attention, drama rise, because he's got a release happening. Those are the last two incidents with Jeffree Star, right? Jeffree Star has never, okay, and I've been covering Jeffree Star since 2016 when I started doing drama. I cannot remember a moment, and do not talk about that third benched basketball player from Atlanta that Jeffree Star hired to come out to his house and then accused of stealing stuff from him, okay? That was not a relationship. That was fake, okay? The guys come out later and said it was fake. Jeffree Star's even insinuated that was fake. Everything he's done is fake. Since 2016, which is what, now 8 years almost that I've been covering drama on this drama channel, I have never, okay, besides Nathan Schwandt, there's never been any valid evidence that Jeffree Star has ever been in a real relationship. In fact, I don't remember ever any receipts coming out of Jeffree Star even being like walking in, sneaking somebody back in the back door. I mean, he always insinuates that like TMZ, you know, I mean, they're too busy hiring drama channels on YouTube. They're not sending planes over to your house in Jeffree Star. TMZ don't care that much, okay? So anyway, but he's always insinuating like TMZ and news companies are flying over their house. Ain't nobody in 8 years caught Jeffree Star in a picture, okay? I mean, all these people on Real Housewives and stuff like that are getting caught like doing this, leaving here, going there. I mean, you know, all this kind of stuff. But Jeffree Star in 8 years, when he craves attention, has never been caught in one picture that was even questionable with an NFL player, an NBA player, a singer, a rapper, anybody, and he constantly claims that they're in his DMs, and not one of them has there ever been. No, it's because it doesn't happen, okay? It's bullshit. And I know that because people behind the scenes that I talk about often in my videos have told me it's bullshit. People that Jeffree Star claiming are his best friends, okay? But Jeffree Star doesn't know that those people have told me those things in the past, that it's bullshit, that Jeffree Star doesn't date anybody, okay? Well, that makes me sad for Jeffree Star that he feels like he has to fake all this kind of stuff, you know? People want to know why the ending of Nathan Schwandt and Jeffree Star's relationship was. It's not hard to figure out, y'all, okay? Look at the timing of it. Karina Kaboom said it 10 years ago or 8 years ago, okay? Look at that. Look, I mean, these people are people that nobody wants to be in a relationship with, okay? Because of how they treat people and how they treat the world. When I see videos of James Charles, not in a contrived YouTube video, not in a contrived TikTok, okay? Not in a contrived Instagram, but when he's talking with his friends, he's a very shady lady, okay? It's not cute. It's snarky. It comes across as he thinks he's better than everybody else, that he's thinking he's entitled, okay? When those things were, like, put out there, he said, the job of being my boyfriend is very lucrative, whatever. I mean, even that was so condescending and patronizing. What person would want to be in a relationship with that, all right? Not to mention that James Charles has made it very, very clear that he is looking for somebody that is more masculine, more straight acting. The camera stopped, which I cannot stand that word. I think James Charles and all of his likes and interests feed into every bad stereotype of the gay community has had to deal with for the last 60 years, okay? But, you know, he wants somebody that is more dominant, more straight acting, more masculine. Okay, but that person that is all of those things is going to be 18 years old with no job that you're flying all over the world and taking care of. No, that person would be somebody that was independent, that was taking care of themselves, that wanted to take care of you, okay? And you're like, well, nobody that I date, blah, blah. Are you telling me that nobody out there that's rich and famous dates somebody? Dolly Parton's husband has never been in the public light. There's like 2 pictures of him ever in public, okay? You think Dolly Parton's husband works? No, he does not work, okay? Don't tell me, I mean, James Charles always acts like nobody will date me because how are they going to date me? Nobody will date you because nobody wants to date you, James Charles, okay? Because of how you treat other people, the fact that you have predatory allegations in your past, okay? Probably your game is not good, and probably you are so cringe in how you talk to people, right? Not to mention that the 2 areas that you have looked for to date are people that are not age appropriate for you and straight men that don't want to be with you, okay? So when I go in here and I read this, right, and he says in here, this song is for everyone that's only experienced love when they were being kept a secret. Why in 2024, okay, as somebody that's worth over $10 million, that owns your own home, is 25 years old, okay? I mean, you said you can't name somebody under 25 that's gay in Hollywood. I named like 10 in my video. Online, they made such a joke of it. People were listing people left and right, okay? No, nobody wants to date you, James Charles, and it's because of how you behave and how you act, okay? When you're putting pictures around a 15-year-old and saying my favorite on Instagram, probably somebody that's 25 or 30 don't want to date you, just for real, okay? You know, when you're constantly pandering to this very young audience and you want to be doing TikTok dances, I mean, probably somebody that's 30 years old that wants to, like, I don't know, go out on a dinner date and, I don't know, have a romantic night, okay? Which, in all honesty, for all the women out there watching, most straight men aren't about all that anyway, James Charles, okay? You might have to teach them to be romantic too. But most straight men aren't gay. And so you're looking for something that don't exist, right? So this whole thing to me, when you talk about experienced love when they were being kept a secret. It's not 1955 anymore, girl. Why are you being kept a secret, okay? So you're either being kept a secret because you're dating somebody that's not out to their family, to their friends, or anybody else, okay? Well, that I can understand. Then you're dogging somebody that isn't out yet, okay? So it's not that they're keeping you a secret, it's that they're not out in their world yet. Only a few people know about them being out, okay? So then your song would be about you shaming somebody that is not publicly out yet. I don't believe that's what the song is about. Okay, so if that's not what the song is about, then the song is about the fact that it has to be about somebody that is not right for you to be dating. For example, they're too young, so you have to be kept a secret. Well, I don't think you're stupid enough to write an entire song and promote it and market it. I mean, maybe you are, girl, okay? But I don't think you're stupid enough and dumb enough to write and promote a song, okay, that you wrote about a 15-year-old, okay, that can't make you public because they're 15. I don't think you want that kind of attention, so I don't think that's what this song is about, all right? So the only thing that I can think is that this has to be about somebody that you have coerced, a straight man, into thinking that they are possibly bi-curious, and you had with them what you thought was a relationship, which probably means flirty texts back and forth because they didn't know how to get the fuck rid of you, okay, number one, because a lot of people aren't as confrontational as I am, because I tell you, step the fuck back, get out of my life, I don't want anything to do with you, I don't give a shit how much money you have, okay? But a lot of people, especially people that are young, don't know how to deal with confrontation. They don't know how to tell people that. Especially if you're flowering these people with gifts, you're giving them tickets to Coachella, you're taking them out to expensive dinners, you're giving them a lot of compliments and things like that, okay? And no, James Charles, somebody being drunk, okay, and you trying to attempt to do something with them or do that does not make that a relationship, okay? In fact, that doesn't even make that consensual, all right? So yes, when I saw in your video, your music video of the song, that there is a guy asleep in bed and you're looking at him awake, ready to pounce, I was kind of surprised that you didn't call your song Voice Note, to be quite frank with you, okay? I wasn't sure why you didn't call the song Voice Note, okay? Because we all know that that's what the voice note is about, don't we? Okay, so I'm not really sure who's keeping you a secret, all right? Because any out gay man that's proud of himself, unless he's married or in another relationship, why are they keeping you a secret? And why are you dating somebody that's in a relationship? That makes you a cheater too, okay? So all of these reasons for why you would be kept a secret are stupid, okay? The only reason you would be kept a secret, and they're not stupid, they're stupid reasons for why you would do it, so that we know that these are not true. So the only reason it can be is that this is about you dating somebody that told the world they were straight and they were not straight. So that can only be for two things. Either they were not out to the world and then you are telling somebody when it is their time to be out and you are shaming them, okay? Or number two, it's because they were not gay. They are straight, okay? They weren't keeping you a secret, all right? They didn't want anything to do with you, and they didn't know how to get rid of you. This song is so fucking weird, and when I saw people in the comment sections underneath there that were like, oh my God, I so relate to this song. How the fuck do you relate to this song in 2024? There are so many people that are out in the LGBTQIA plus community. Go date one of those people, okay? I came out in 1990. I dated one person that wasn't out to his family, and after that I said, I'm never doing this again, okay? Go find somebody that's out. There's whole apps that are about for people that are out. There's whole dating apps, fucking apps, screwing apps, lickety-suckety screwing apps. There's all kinds of apps for gay people, okay? Rich ones, poor ones. Andy Cohen even talked about it on his thing the other day, asking this guy who was, they're both on this app, and they date openly and meet people. James Charles, why are you the only exclusive person that has to be kept a secret in Hollywood that nobody will date? It's because you're weird and you're a fucking predator, girl, and you try to turn straight people gay, and that's what your song is about. That's what your song is about, per my interpretation of an artistic song, and I can have that interpretation, okay? So then you go on and you say, for everyone that's ever felt like an experiment, girl, why are you choosing to be the gerbil, okay? Why are you choosing to be the experiment rat, right? What that's saying, again, is that you're dating somebody that's not out. Girl, you're the experiment because you choose to be the experiment, because you're hitting up on straight guys. And yet James Charles, in all these scenarios where he's the victim because he was somebody's secret, yeah, because they were straight, girl. You weren't a secret. You were a problem they didn't know how to get rid of, okay? You weren't an experiment, all right? They didn't want nothing to do with you. You probably hit on them after they were drunk, or that you got them somewhere and they didn't know how to get out of there, and they're like, what the fuck, okay? You know? Not everybody is as fluid as you are, James Charles. Not everybody. There are a lot of straight people out there. And this is one of my big issues as a gay man that's been out since I was 18 years old. You know, and trust me, I know about the whole Kinsey spectrum and all that kind of shit, all right? But if I want people to respect me for my sexual orientation and who I am as an out and proud gay man, then I have to respect the boundaries of heterosexual people in my life as well, right? And have them as allies and know where those boundaries lie. You don't. You think you can turn any man gay just because you're James Charles. So when you come out with your video and you say that you are using the name James Charles because you always think of yourself as James Dickinson, that's bullshit, James, okay? You've been caught in the past when you were trying to, like, you know, tell other people this and tell other people that, you know, and on social media apps and whatever. You've always been wanting to date the straight guy, okay? It's problematic. It's very problematic. You know? I mean, okay, and then it goes on, he says, for everyone who dates only happen after midnight. So you choose to be a booty call. Girl, you are $10 million. Call somebody up and be like, no, you ain't fucking coming over. I ain't gonna be your booty call. Why did it take you till you were 25 to learn this? I don't understand this, right? For everyone that's woken up the next morning to a block or a friend zone at best. Girl, this is so embarrassing to you. Or a threat at worst. I wrote, can we just be friends after years of pain and trauma, finally realizing that I was the one allowing myself to be the secret over and over and over again. Over and over and over again implies multiple times, okay? What I don't understand about this is that what that has to imply is that you have either dated so many men that were on the DL that were not ready to come out yet, and then you shouldn't be shaming them for that, okay? Or you've dated a lot of men that told you they were gay, but they were really straight. I don't know, okay? The implications of this song are so problematic when you look at the lyrics and you break it down. Can somebody else please clear this up for me? Who are you keeping a secret? Because this song is not about the minors, okay? So then people underneath there are implying that this song, they're saying that this song is about Gage, okay, from Coachella from a couple years ago. And I'm like, what? A lot of people underneath here are talking about how this is Gage. Now, if y'all don't remember about this, okay, this happened several years ago at Coachella. I don't even know the exact details. I was looking it up last night. There's whole articles written about it, okay? But there was this guy named Gage, okay, that James Charles took to Coachella, flew him out there and all this kind of stuff. Then Gage came out and said that James Charles was, like, inappropriately hitting on him and things like that, okay? And then afterwards, Tina Mojo came out and defended James Charles against this Gage person, okay? Then Gage came out with this video that was very weird, and everybody that watched it said it seemed very, very scripted. And it was like, he was like looking in the background, he was like, yeah, like, I took that back, and basically I did it for clout, okay? It was so obvious that somebody had coerced him, yet again, or paid him to say what he said in this video, okay? Then time goes by. Now, what's interesting about this is that that was at the time that James Charles was sending all the receipts, okay, to drama channels. So James Charles wants to come out and say all this shit about drama channels now, but at that moment in time, James Charles was so fucking worried about Gage coming out that he was sending drama channels full receipts of their textual interactions, okay? The only two people that were not sent it were me and Here for the Tea. Because he told us, because we weren't included in this group text, because at that point, like, some of those people we were blocked by and things like that, so he couldn't include all of us in the group. It's a whole group text with drama channels and James Charles from back in the day. That group chat existed just for that sole purpose of him sending them the receipts, and then it was gone, okay? So he sent those drama channels receipts, okay? Ashley Kyle's come out and talked about it later, right? About things that she did and things she knew behind the scenes and all this kind of stuff. There were several people that did, okay? James Charles was using drama channels to paint a narrative because he knew that if he got that story out there from drama channels with the receipts, he could coerce the narrative the way that he wanted to. But baby, listen, this ain't 2018 and you can't do that today, or 2019 or whenever it was, okay? We see through that today. And those drama channels know that you fucking used them, all right? But the real stinger to me is that Tina Mojo turns around and she ends up becoming good friends with Gage. In fact, they end up getting, like, on Instagram and TikTok, throwing up their finger at James Charles and saying, like, fuck James Charles and things like that. And what a joke he is. And she's, like, Team Gage. And then she, like, disowns James Charles and then becomes his friend again, then disowns him, then becomes his friend again. I mean, Tina Mojo's a joke. But anyway. So, but at that time, she was friends with Gage. Now, what's interesting is I went and looked last night, and Gage is still friends with Tina Mojo, and Tina Mojo is still friends with Gage, but James Charles and Gage aren't friends anymore. So that must give some validity to the Tina Mojo and Gage story that she believes Gage over James Charles, and she's even come out and said that, right? Okay, so now you're writing a song that people are speculating is about is about Gage? Is this about Gage? Okay, if it's about Gage, and you got some explaining to do, and not just in a song, and you might not be one to write about him. Is this about Voice Note Boy? Because we know what happened with that, okay, that somebody was sleeping and you were trying to do the no-nos, okay? We know about all that you want to later come out. I love that somebody posted this. I won't say who so people can find it, but I saw this last week that somebody was like, oh no, we're just friends. It's all just a joke between us. Really, girl? Are y'all still friends? Is it still a joke? Or is there voice on the voice note? Is her voice on the voice note? Is it James? Is it James? Is her voice on the voice note, James? Whose voice is on the voice note, James? Were y'all just friends? Were y'all just playing tickle tickle bug in bed? Was it just tickle tickle bug in bed? Or were you trying to do something more, girl? Okay? Because there's a word for that. Okay? There's a hard word for that. When you try to do something to somebody that don't want it done to them. Okay? So I don't know who's keeping you a secret, and I don't know whose experiments you are, girl, but was there consent involved? You want to come out and talk about this? You ain't Adele, all right? We know who Adele's relationships were, okay? When Beyonce comes out, we know who she's talking about. Taylor Swift, within 24 hours, those Swifties, they can figure out who every fucking lyric's about, all right? James Charles, why don't you come out and tell us who's this about? Who's this about? Is this about Gage? This is about the birthday dinner that you keep on laughing about when you told Toddy Westbrook you can have anybody. You obviously can't. You obviously can't. Who don't want you, James? Why don't you come out with that song, okay? Who don't want me is this person. And why are you bringing this up, okay? This is what's so interesting to me is that people constantly say, James Charles wants to move on, James Charles wants to move on, James Charles wants to move on, James Charles wants to move on. What's so weird to me about this, okay, is that you are literally, because you know this is going to get people talking when people are talking about, is this Gage? I mean, your entire thread underneath this one picture is all about Gage, okay? So you know you're going to get people talking about Gage again, which is giving him unwanted attention, which is not fair. You're going to get people wondering about all the people, all the minors and stuff like that, going back and looking at your own videos. And this is literally, you are using your predatorial past as a marketing technique. And the reality is, this is really the first time ever that we have ever seen, I mean, in the world right now that we are living, okay, with stories that are blasted all over the internet, with predators being taken down, never working again in Hollywood, you know, never having another, you know, song or movie put out there, completely blacklisted in the industry. Nobody wants anything to do with them. People are coming out in interviews and talking about them, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And then you are continuing to go on as a self-admitted predator that has also hit on straight men that have come out and spoken against you to major news sources. That video is coming because I was not aware of some of those people that have actually given full interviews to some of these magazines, reputable magazines, okay? And you're using this predatory, coercive behavior as a marketing tool. I mean, there are firsts for everything, but what that says is James Charles really doesn't fucking think that he can be caught. Now, when people want to say, or he doesn't think he did anything wrong, we already know he thought he did something wrong, okay? He's already come out and taken responsibility in his Holding Myself Accountable video. Also, don't forget the video that he posted from Australia where his hair is disheveled. He's already come out and talked about hitting on the straight guys, right? He already came out and talked about that and how that wasn't appropriate, and he knows power differentials and all that kind of stuff. James Charles has made it fully aware that he understands power differential, okay, when it comes to the victim and the predator. He understands using his name James Charles versus using his name James Dickinson. He understands being coercive to people. He has come out and said, I fully understand this. That was his Holding Myself Accountable video, multiple videos after that, and him coming out in other places and talking about that. And now in 2024, he's using these as examples for a song where he feels like he was kept a secret. He is now using all of these past situations as a fucking marketing tool. And there are people out there that think that this is okay. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The reason why we need to talk about these things is because this will be Colleen Ballinger in 3 years going on tour and writing a best-selling novel, okay, about all the shit she's gone through for the last couple of years, and she'll call her tour something like, Thanks to My Victims, and people will think it's fucking funny. Because people are singing out the praises of this song that he wrote about being kept a secret from somebody that didn't want to probably be with him anyway, okay? That he's wanting to shout out about this and shout out about that. There's other speculations that who this person could be, that this person's another YouTuber. Okay, that's made it very clear. Well, in that situation, James, then maybe this person's not ready to come out. And that's not your story to fucking tell in a song, okay? This is this whole generation of queer baiting, hitting on straight men, and outing people, right? Like, what are you above? How are you? Your friend Daniel Prada had the nerve to come out and talk about donating and contributing to the LGBTQI plus community when referring to Jeffree Star, who has actually donated quite a bit of money and done a lot of work for the LGBTQI plus community. And listen, I don't got a lot of nice things to say about Jeffree Star, but he has done that, okay? What have you all done? What have you all done that has contributed to it? The fact that you are invited to anything that has to do with the LGBTQI plus community, to me, is disgusting, okay? Is absolutely disgusting. That you are ever invited to anything on any red carpet, when you are queer baiting, you are kissing straight men and feeding into the straight fantasy, and you are posting that shit and you think it's cute, and that goes to you too, Manny. Okay, that you have predatorial allegations that you think are a joke and coming out in articles that are saying, please uncancel me. And then you use all of that shit, right? And write a song and think it's relatable. And this is how unhinged you are, James Charles. You think this is relatable, okay? Well, if you think it's relatable, this must be the common conversation that you and all your friends have. So all I can think is that when you and Manny and Daniel are sitting around, what you're talking about is how you're a straight man's fantasy and you're a straight man's secret, and you're also their experiment, right? That must be the conversation that you're having, because if you think it's relatable, if you think that's the language that you guys use together, then it must make sense to you that it's relatable. But to the rest of us watching, baby, I ain't never been nobody's secret, okay? Not since that one day when that person wasn't out. And I can tell you right now, that was not my place to tell somebody when to come out. It's nobody's place to tell somebody when to come out, okay? So if you're not talking about that, what the fuck are you talking about in this song? Or is this song more problematic than people are giving it credit for, okay? But quit playing the victim. You've got victims of your own. You don't get to play the victim when you've got victims of your own. Just keep that in mind, all right? Let me know what you guys think about all that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.